What if Dexter was married? It's a good question. Let's review Bloodline. Bloodline stars Seann William Scott, Mariella Garija, Dale Dickey, and is directed by Henry Jacobson. What's up, guys? Thank God for Killer Flicks. It's time to review a new 2019 movie. Somebody posted this movie on Killer Flicks. You know what? Let me show you who posted it. Hold on just a second. Just looked it up. Christopher George. He posted about this movie Bloodline, but I think a couple other people posted it too, and I saw it on there, and I was like, this is starting to get a little bit of buzz. I'll check it out. So I checked it out. It is a Blumhouse production, which is a good thing. Blumhouse, they got their big toes in quite a few different properties lately. So this one does have, it looks like it's got a budget. There's some fine filmmaking there by Henry Jacobson. And I definitely got like a lot of like Nicholas Winding Refn vibes from this movie, at least in like the color palette, which I do like that in a horror movie. I think when you stylize horror films, it only makes it better, you know? So that's definitely something I'm gonna be talking about in this review. But first off, quick plot synopsis. Now you're gonna definitely relate this to Dexter, the show Dexter, because it's about a serial killer, but he only kills bad people. So really what this movie is, this guidance counselor played by Seann William Scott, who is this serial killer. But the twist here is that he actually has a family. And that's not really a twist because it's not at the end of the movie. You know, that's the setup. He has a family. He's got a wife. You know, he's got a kid. His mother lives with them. So, of course, his family, they don't know that in the wee hours of the night, he's going out and he's killing these people. How does he find these people to kill? Well, like I said, he's a guidance counselor for this high school. And so the students really bring him his victims, his prey. They don't know that, but you know, they talk about, you know, like one of the students talks about how his father like beats him. And so of course, what he does is he goes, finds this guy, and then he kills him. And so that's what he does throughout the movie. Now, one thing that was interesting about this movie, and as a pro, it is a layered story. You know, in the first act, they're setting things up. You figure out that this guy is a killer. But then there's more to the story, which of course I'm not going to go into because I don't want to give any spoilers, than just, you know, on the surface level. More than meets the eye, really. And so I was pleasantly surprised by that. You know, the layers do get peeled back, and then there are some interesting anecdotes to the story along the way. And emotionally, it adds to the story as well, which I think is very important. Now, first thing that I really want to talk about that I did like about this movie is that it is bloody. It is a bona fide horror movie. And they set that up right at the beginning of the movie. You see one of the deaths. Every killer, I guess, has like a trademark. And Evan, who is played by Seann William Scott, who is the killer in this movie, his thing is he will stab the victim in the stomach, he'll toy with them, and then his final kill shot is he just thrusts the knife into the side of the neck and then pulls it out. And they show it. It's bloody. It's really bloody. And this movie's graphic, which is, to me as a pro, and you know, as superficial as that is, I like a horror movie that does get graphic, especially if it fits into the story. You know, this is graphic to portray how violent this killer is. You know, and he is a character that is messed up in the head. They do go into his backstory a little bit and why he is the way he is. He had a father that was a son of a bitch. And, you know, his father plays a big part into why he ended up the way he did. You know, this is one of those like family-oriented horror movies. And I don't mean that as like a family could grab some popcorn and watch this movie. No, I'm just saying the killer's family has a big part into why he does what he does. And I like that he's actually married because then that gives us more fat to chew on, more to play with. Like, how is his wife going to deal with this? Because if you remember in the show Dexter, Dexter wasn't married and he still had all these outside friends that he would have to cover things up. So if the person that you have to cover things up against is living in, you know, your house with you, then that's tough. Dexter did have a girlfriend, but you know, he didn't live in the same house with her, so he was able to get away with more. Whereas this one, he's coming home to her every single night. And so how do you maneuver around that? Now, gotta mention the directing style of this movie. Automatically, I was thinking of movies like Drive just in the, like, the color palette, but also in, like, the performances and the delivery. I guess you could put this like in the middle of Drive and Only God Forgives, because Only God Forgives is a very snail's pace type of movie, whereas Drive is a lot more accessible. This is definitely more accessible, but it's not nearly directed as well as Drive. You know, Nicholas Winding Refn had a vision, and he drove it home. Whereas this one, I hate to use this word, but it does feel a bit pretentious. And really that just comes down to the script and the performances, the acting. Seann William Scott does a decent job in this movie, but he's really one note.
Please describe to me the feelings and sensations you experience when beating your son.
And I think the character would be kind of subdued a little bit, but I wanted a little bit more. I think I really wanted a stamp on this character, and I didn't get that. So I hate to already jump into the cons, but I will say it does try a little bit too hard. And I think if they would have ironed that out a bit, this would have been a really great movie, actually, because the premise is really interesting. It does deliver in the twist department. I guess not really twist, but the story evolves, you know, and I think it evolves in the right direction. So I think if they could have fine-tuned those performances along the way, it could have been a lot better. But watching this movie, it's not a waste of your time. Check it out on Amazon. I'll put an Amazon affiliate link below. It's also on Vudu. But yeah, if you're in it for just the blood alone, you're going to be satisfied. It's an interesting horror film to watch. It really is, and it is a horror film. So I'm going to give it a humdrum. So if you have seen Bloodline, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.